My name is Trey, and I'm here to explain a little bit about my story. How it all started for me was I was younger, probably about middle school, 8th grade. It started off drinking on the weekends, recreationally, just trying to have a good time. I just remember my first drink. It was at a friend's house, and started drinking, and I just loved that feeling of what I got when I was drunk. And I had older brothers at the time who were in high school, so I partied with high schoolers at a young age. And at a young age, I got introduced into painkillers because my mom had a brain tumor, and my brother would sneak into a room and get them. And I was probably about a freshman in high school when I had snorted my first Percocet, and I just knew, I don't know what it was about that feeling, but I just knew that's what I liked. And so after that, it just got worse and worse. Through high school, it wasn't bad really until about junior year, because 9th and 10th grade I was an athlete. I played football, I played lacrosse, because I'm from Maryland and that's what we do, we play lacrosse. And 9th and 10th grade wasn't bad because I only did it a couple times, but then I got introduced into oxys, and that's when it started getting pretty bad. About junior year, I started snorting oxys a lot, and it started to become a regular thing for me until it became not just me wanting to do it for the fun, it became a physical addiction. And I didn't know that until they ran out, and then I was like, wow, I feel sick, I feel awful. This isn't right. And probably about near the end of my junior year, the oxy started getting a little expensive, and my brother had introduced me into heroin. And on the East Coast you can snort it, so we were snorting it at first. And that's when my life just started getting even worse. It was so bad to where before a lacrosse game, I'd be in the bathrooms taking Suboxone because I'd be withdrawing if not during the game, and I didn't want to be on the heroin before the game because I'd be nodding out on the field, so I would have to take Suboxone just so I wouldn't be withdrawing through a game. And just thinking of that at such a young age is so awful. And then my brother ended up getting locked up, and once he got locked up, I met this other guy, and we ended up shooting up, and I used a needle for the first time. It was around the end of my senior year. And so I graduated high school, fortunately. So as soon as, like I said, when my brother got locked up, I met this guy, and we started shooting. And that's when it got really bad. Because when I was doing the oxys, it was kind of like I was a functioning addict, because it wasn't to that point yet. And so then it gets so bad to where I'm stealing from anybody, I'm robbing anybody, I'm robbing my mom, your mom, my best friend, my girlfriend, anybody. That's what it was for me to get my fix so I didn't feel sick. It became more of a not wanting to get high. It became a physical addiction to where I was sick and getting ill without it. And one of the runs I had before treatment, I had was in the kitchen, and I tried to get off of it by myself, and I was about 3 days off of heroin, withdrawing, getting sick, and I ended up stealing my parents' car to go rob the dope man because I convinced myself it was the last time I was going to use. Ended up coming home and shooting up to overdose in my kitchen, and my mom had called an ambulance and was freaking out, crying. I woke up to her shaking me, and I went to the hospital, and the next day I went to treatment. Ended up doing treatment, stayed sober for about 6 months, but I guess I just wasn't ready at that time because I went right back out. Started doing the same stuff, ended up in jail again, but this time in jail I was in the cell just getting sick, throwing up, puking, sleeping by the toilet, and I was just I can't live like this anymore. Something's got to change. So I was in the jail, and I called my mom, and I was like, I need to go back to treatment. That's what I need to do. Told the judge that. The judge made me a deal. So I'm from Maryland, so I went to a treatment in Virginia and did about 30 days there. Then I went to a sober living in Maryland to come around meeting a guy who had connections in California for me to get some treatment. And I was like, that sounds amazing. I would love to give that a try. And that's how I came upon Oceanfront Recovery. And it's just been amazing. I did treatment through Oceanfront for probably about 6 months. And they did a lot for me. It was a different experience out here. It's a different type of treatment. I don't know, they've really changed my life because I've tried to get clean and sober, a couple times. I went through treatments before, and then I came out here, and then Oceanfront, with the counselors and the therapists and how much they care. I just feel like something really got me this time, and I think maybe it could have been like I was, tired of going to jail and being depressed and wanting to kill myself, and all that stuff probably helped also. I was very desperate for change, but Oceanfront was a very different program for me, and they really helped me a lot, and I very much appreciate them. And now I'm a year and 4 months clean, and I work. I live out in California now. I have my own apartment, my own car. I have no family out here, but I got on my feet out here through Oceanfront, who showed me the way, led me in the right direction, and got me on my feet. And like they say, one day at a time. I'm not promised tomorrow, but like I learned all this through Oceanfront, and it's tough. Recovery's tough. It's not easy. It's every day. It's like, just because I have a year and 4 months clean doesn't think I still don't think about going out and getting high. Like, that's what we tend to do as addicts and alcoholics. When things are going right, we tend to want to ruin the good stuff. So that's, you got to remember the hard times too as an addict and alcoholic, because that's why I like helping other people in recovery, because that's what we do. We help them, and it also helps us because we see where we came from and how far we've come, also helping them, and it's just like one day at a time. And it's nice to still be out here in California, and I also can always talk to these people I've met through Oceanfront and stuff like that, and it's always just good to come back as an alumni. And they did a lot for me, and I really appreciate what they've done.